Metal Sonic is the most famous robot version of Sonic, even though it's the most misunderstood, because it's not actually the first one to be created. Debuting in Sonic CD, Metal is Eggman's most prized machine, designed to match and surpass Sonic's speed and reflexes. He was cold, powerful, and completely obedient to Eggman. But beneath that cold exterior, something was different. Metal wasn't just a machine, he was a character. His rivalry with Sonic wasn't just about combat, it was a battle of natural versus artificial, freedom versus obedience. And this would only become more apparent as Metal continued evolving. Before Metal, there was Silver, or should I say Mecha Sonic. This heavy, clunky brute made his debut in Sonic 2 as the final guardian in the Death Egg. While Metal was designed around Sonic's agility, Mecha was all about raw strength. More like a tank, you know? They are entirely different lines of robots. While fans called him Silver Sonic for years, his official name is actually Mecha Sonic. But here's the weird part. There's another Silver Sonic. In the lesser-known 8-bit Sonic 2 for the Game Gear, Eggman deployed a smaller variation of the robot, and this one is actually called Silver Sonic. While still a formidable opponent, he was less durable and used simpler attacks. This little guy surprisingly made a comeback in Sonic Mania Plus, appearing in the Metal Sonic boss fight. However, Eggman wasn't done. He needed to create something much stronger. And that's where things get wild. Fast forward to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we get Mecha Sonic Mark II. A sleeker, faster, more handsome upgrade, with one insane ability: going super. Mecha Sonic is one of the only non-organic characters in the franchise to achieve a super form, thanks to the Master Emerald. Imagine a machine with supersonic level power. This would be the ultimate version of the Mecha line. But Eggman was already working on something far scarier. In Knuckles Chaotix, Metal Sonic undergoes his most terrifying transformation yet, absorbing the Dark Ring to become Metal Sonic Kai, a massive, monstrous red version of himself with sharp fangs and terrifying power. The bad ending of the game even shows him hovering over a destroyed city, implying your failure allowed him to cause mass death and destruction. It's so disturbing that many kids had nightmares about it. But just when Metal Sonic was at his scariest, he also became his funniest. In Sonic the Fighter's, Metal Sonic turned into a literal rocket. Rocket Metal Sonic was capable of propelling itself at high speeds in space. It was cool, but also pretty hilarious. Come on, he looks kinda funny. He also has a banger of a theme song. Rocket reappears in the fan game, Triple Trouble 16-bit, as the final boss fight, becoming big and red like Kai. This is one of the best Sonic fan games, so you should definitely play it. Just because it isn't canon doesn't mean it can't be really interesting. Just like this story from the discontinued Sonic Archie comics. In the Mecha Madness arc, Eggman did something insane. He captured and roboticized Sonic himself. This created what fans call Archie Mecha Sonic, an unstoppable, brainwashed version of Sonic. It was so bad, Knuckles had to roboticize himself too, just to stand a chance. This led to one of the coolest fights in Sonic comic history, Mecha Sonic vs. Mecha Knuckles, a massive, explosive battle that nearly destroyed everything around them. Archie would also soon adapt a certain mysterious Sonic robot that's actually canon. In Sonic Adventure, a completely unknown silver-colored robotic version of Sonic appears in Eggman's base, without any explanation or ever being activated. Some thought it was an early Metal Sonic design, while others believed it was a version of Mecha Sonic. Archie Comics adapted it as Silver Sonic 2, but for decades, no one knew what it actually canonically was, up until recently. Game writer Ian Flynn finally confirmed it's actually Mecha Sonic Mark III, an evolution of Mark II, and yet Eggman never used it. Maybe he was scared of what his Sonic robots could become, and that fear would soon come true.
It's not an Eggman robot. Sonic! Knuckles! Wait for me!
All lifeform data successfully copied.
In Sonic Heroes, Metal Sonic takes matters into his own hands. After so many defeats against the Blue Blur, he became resentful. He knew he was superior to Sonic, and his sole purpose was to defeat him, yet he kept failing. This made him obsessed with power. Having recently been upgraded into Neo Metal Sonic, he betrays Eggman, disguises himself as him, and takes control of his empire. After gathering life data from Sonic and his friends, Neo Metal transforms into Metal Overlord, a massive city-sized dragon mecha with godlike power. At this point, he doesn't just want to defeat Sonic, he wants to rule the world. Team Sonic had to transform all together, with the Chaos Emeralds to barely be able to win the fight. After this, Eggman reprogrammed Metal, so he'd never rebel again. Or at least that's what he thinks, as Metal still shows traces of his own will from time to time. Neo Metal also had a role in the IDW comics, where he became Super Neo Metal and Master Overlord. This might be the most powerful Metal has ever been. The next versions of Metal Sonic would reimagine the character in the most surprising and creative ways. In Sonic Rivals 2, Eggman's descendant from the future, Eggman Niga, creates Metal Sonic 3.0, a futuristic, sleeker, colder version of Metal. But here's the twist: 3.0 hates Metal Sonic. This set up one of the most short but unexpected rivalries in the franchise. A robot versus robot race with the two distinct Eggman's objectives at stake. Yet this wasn't even the biggest twist Sonic writers could come up with. Did you ever wonder what it would be like if Metal Sonic was on the side of the good guys? After finally being defeated, the Metal Sonic from the Archie Comics universe was rebuilt into something completely different. A hero. Now called Shard, this version of Metal Sonic had free will, a sense of humor, and even fought alongside Sonic and his friends, trying to atone for his past mistakes. He's a lot more chill than a certain other new version of Metal Sonic. Enter Chaos Sonic, the robot Sonic from Sonic Prime. But instead of being cold and silent, this one never stops talking. Cocky, obnoxious, and full of bad jokes. Chaos Sonic drives Sonic insane with his constant chatter. The funniest part? The Eggmans programmed him to be how they perceive Sonic to be. The result is that he's an exaggerated parody of Sonic's worst traits. Expressive cute eye visor aside, he has the same core design as the original Metal. He was built by an Eggman from another dimension, so he can easily be considered a Metal Sonic from another dimension. And that might just be the plot of Sonic Movie 4. The movie version of Metal promises to be his biggest role yet. In the post-credits scene of Sonic Movie 3, an army of Metal Sonics appears and is fought by Amy Rose. But that's not all. A newly revealed concept art from the third movie shows Dr. Robotnik in a bad future-like setting as a king with Metal at his side. This led fans to speculate Movie 4 will explore a future or another world where Eggman has already won, inspired by the CD storyline. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but Movie Metal has a mouth. Yep. Can't unsee this now, can you? The real question is, will Metal lead this robotic army himself? Most fans may not know this, but this concept isn't new. That's right, here's an extra Metal. Emperor Metallix from the Fleetway comics is a terrifying entity, independent of Eggman. He leads a hive mind of smaller metals, all connected to his consciousness, making him a true robotic conqueror. Imagine if Movie Metal rebels and turns his army against the Doctor. This would be the ultimate Metal Sonic story. A mix of his CD origins, his betrayal in Heroes, and the hive mind concept from Fleetway. A culmination of his entire evolution so far. Considering how well the movies treated Knuckles and Shadow, Metal Sonic could be next in line for a legendary adaptation, which feels so good to be able to say. Metal Sonic fans, prepare. It's finally happening. Sega has also confirmed that if you subscribe to our channel, Sage will return in the next game and she will be best buddies forever with Metal Sonic. This is too cute for you to not subscribe.